Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In Flight, the exclusive podcast of the Brooklyn Skyrockets. I'm Joe Sikoa, one of the voices of the Brooklyn Skyrockets, and guess what, folks? We are getting closer and closer to the season. Just a few weeks away from the first ever season and first ever basketball games for the Brooklyn Skyrockets, a brand new ABA basketball team coming to the Floyd Bennett Field Aviator Sports and Recreational Center. On the last podcast, we spoke to team owner Dylan Joya, and he gave us an inside look of what to expect this season. And on this podcast, we were able to speak to the head coach, Sean Thomas. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes, as well as being introduced to the Brooklyn Skyrockets team and who will be repping that plane on their chest as they get ready to take flight. Again, just a few short weeks away for the first ever games of the Brooklyn Skyrockets. Should be exciting. And speaking to Coach Thomas today, he really has high expectations for this team. And this team, going into its first season, has been ranked. They've been ranked already going into the season. They have cracked the top 30 of the ABA teams to watch out for. And you better believe it, folks, because this team is looking really solid. Also, continue, buy tickets. Get your tickets right here on BrooklynSkyrockets.com. There have been a few already going, and season tickets have been sold. 13 home games to be played at the Aviator Sports and Recreation Center, so get yours now, once again, right here on BrooklynSkyrockets.com. So let's dive right in to the podcast. We were able to speak to head coach Sean Thomas on this podcast, and here's what he had to say about the upcoming season and his expectations for his squad. And we're here with head coach of the Brooklyn Skyrockets, Sean Thomas. And Sean, before we really get into talking about the team, why don't you tell me about basically your reaction or the way you felt once you found out that, hey, the Brooklyn Skyrockets are going to be a real deal and you were the man that was going to lead the charge here?
I was very excited, as anyone should be. The opportunity is a great opportunity. I want to just thank Mr. Dylan Joya for putting me in this position to help others further their careers. Honestly, I just love being around the game of basketball, so he could have asked me to be the equipment manager, and I would have been excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, first of all, a big congratulations to you and, going forward with this. And now really let's get into the team that you'll be coaching and whatnot. You've obviously had some practices going on, some shoot-arounds and whatnot. What's your overall feeling about this team going into the first ever season for the Brooklyn Skyrockets?
Honestly, I'm blessed to have the quality of talent. I got a lot of guys that, in my opinion, should either be in the D League or playing in a high-level league overseas. Like, when you get to see our guys, and due to my leadership, it should translate into wins, but we just got a lot of talent. We guard heavy. Like, we got great perimeter players. We got a kid named Dylan Bovell. He's only 22. He's very exciting. Got a young man named Severo Providence, Keenan Bell, Alan Thomas. They just talented. We got a couple wild cards. We got this guy named Ryan Small. He's about 6'6", 200 pounds, and he dunks and blocks everything. We got older veterans. A guy named Brian Keenan. He's a knockdown three-point shooter. He can run a team. We got James Griffin. I can go on about our guys. Chris Samuels, he's like a pick and pop big guy. He's like about 6'9", about 210. He can shoot it from anywhere inside 25 feet.
Well, yeah, and that's all good stuff, and I'm sure you can go on and on with it. Is there something, or is there a strength to your game? Do you think that your team will be able to use, like I said, as a strength against other opponents? Is there a type of way you coach? Because there's a lot of coaches that have different styles of play. What is Coach Sean Thomas's style of play, and what does he expect from his players?
Well, I expect my players to play with a lot of effort and intelligence, and just leave it out on the court, because that's the kind of player I was. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to play in college. I played in a lot of rec leagues, and I played a little high school in South Carolina. And I'm a Brooklyn-bred guy. Like, with Brooklyn guys, we play with heart. We leave it out on the court. We don't make any excuses. If you get in between them lines, it's like, hey, I could be playing against a family member, a friend. I'm a foul just as hard as I foul a stranger. It's like, we going to have toughness. We're going to have intelligence and effort. That's one thing about these guys. I can say, like, we get a little chippy in practice, and I like that kind of stuff. I just chuckle to myself on the side. Like, I like that kind of stuff. Like, I want guys to just be out on the court. I look up to a lot of coaches, like Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach. He was from Brooklyn. And it's like, I'm the type of guy where I'm allowed guys to make decisions because I'm dealing with adults. And when you're dealing with adults, it's a business, and it's like at work when you're dealing with your employees, you want your employees to come in there and do their job. And I don't really like to look over guys' shoulders and give them a hard time. I tell them, look, go out there and do your job. If I think that you will do your job better, I'm going to critique you. But if you're doing everything well, then I'm going to stay out of your way.
Now, talk about a basketball team, an ABA basketball team coming to Brooklyn. How big is this really for the community and for the fans that have already started buying season tickets to the Brooklyn Skyrockets, in which they'll be playing in the Aviator Rec Center?
Listen, it's humongous. Guys just don't understand what this means. It's like, growing up, I couldn't imagine going to a game where I can actually see the guys out in the community. Like, we had the Knicks, and see, I'm 35 years old, so I remember the great Patrick Ewing years, John Starks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Rolando Blackman, Derek Harper. I remember those guys, but it's different when you could actually, like the other day we went to Garrison Beach and we did an anti-bullying / basketball clinic, and the kids were great. Like, they asked for our autographs. I never had a person ask for my autograph. I was a little in awe. So it's like, it's so big. It's so big. It's like, even in my own neighborhood, I live in Fort Greene, and my parents, they own a condo in University Towers, and it's like the type of recognition and the type of attention that we are getting, it's kind of overwhelming at times.
Yeah, that's always a big thing, and I know there's a lot of excited people, here in Brooklyn and everything. It's really starting to take shape on the social media networks with the Brooklyn Skyrockets. Tell me a little bit about the relationship you have with Dylan. Like, how has it been going forward? I know, we spoke to him. Obviously, putting this whole together has really been an effort for him. Just tell us a little bit about your relationship with Dylan.
It's a beautiful relationship. It's like, it doesn't really feel like a job sometimes, like, honestly. Like, when I talk to Dylan, it's like talking to one of your buddies, like we at the barber shop or we at the bar, we at a sports bar, just talking sports. Like, he really gives me a lot of leeway. Like, he's like, Coach Thomas, I'm going to let you handle the basketball side of things. If you need my input, I'm here. And it's just a beautiful situation. I mean, my title is head coach / general manager. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like, I get to handpick a lot of the guys I get to make tough decisions. I had to cut a few guys that I actually had the opportunity to play against growing up. And it's just a tough situation. But Dylan, honestly, if I had to rank him as one of my bosses, he's probably my favorite boss. He doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. He just gives me the opportunity to be myself. And being myself, I'm one of those people where I don't mind making a tough decision. I mean, I believe in diplomacy and being having a democracy, but at the same time, someone has to make those tough decisions. It's like, if you leave it up to me, I'm going to make the decision based off non-emotions. It's like, it's a business, and also you want to go out there and have fun, but honestly, I try to make the decision that's going to help everyone overall.
Yeah, that's a good attitude to have. And Now, talk a little bit about what the feeling is now with these guys. You obviously are just a few more practices away. I mean, before you know it, the season opener is going to be here. What's the overall feeling in the room right now with these guys? Are they anxious to get on the court? Are they ready to go? What's it like?
Well, we got it, like I said, guys like Keenan Bell, he's a great leader. I love that guy. Like, if I had to pick one guy that, like, you know how some coaches, like, you know, like most of the time you want to have a team that kind of like embodies or have your type of attitude and your personality.
Yep.
He's definitely that guy. Like, Mr. Bell, it's so beautiful. It's times in practice where I could just let him run the practice. I could just sit back and critique things. Because, like, man, his vision is so similar. And then, like, Serrano Providence, like, once you get to see this guy, Joe, you're going to be astonished. Like, he just can run a team. He just got poised like an older guy. He's 28 years old, but he's so calm, cool, and collected. Like, nothing rattles him. It's like he's been in every situation. And, like I said, Allen, he's a NAIA championship at Georgetown College. Dylan Bovell, he played that Genesee Junior College, upstate New York. We got guys that really have accolades and that really we have the talent level is just outstanding. I haven't had an opportunity to be around this level of talent in a long time. Because I played in the mid-'90s against Jamal Tinsley, a guy that I look up to and I admire a lot, Ron Artest, Lamar Odom, Stephon Marbury. These, like, the guys, like, I see a lot of qualities in my guys that I saw in those guys when I was a much younger person admiring the game and evaluating the game. It's just, honestly, if you don't come out and watch the Skyrockets, you're missing out on something. We the best kept secret at NYC.
Hey, you know what? It sure sounds like it, and I'm pretty sure that come opening night, it's going to be a packed house in the Aviator. But anyway, Coach Thomas, I really appreciate you spending some time with us here for the podcast, and obviously we'll be talking to you a little bit more during the season, and we certainly can't wait for the season to get underway.
Thank you very much, Joe.
All right. And that was Coach Sean Thomas of the Brooklyn Skyrockets. I want to thank him for joining this week's podcast. We're getting closer and closer to the first ever season for the Brooklyn Skyrockets. Until next time, I'm Joe Sokoa.